I'm Pastor Mark of the Eternals Congregation. We have noticed how the manipulations in the scriptures were substantially produced by the Jewish people, up to ignite the wrath of the Arabs, whose culture was constantly ascending. Then it was the turn of the Samaritans, Hebrews, who sought to bring to light the historical truth of the scriptures, standing up to the religious power of Israel. Christianity was the last branch to detach, without lining up on one side or the other. While continuing to use the texts of Judaism, it had developed a new religious formula, based essentially on social values, and no longer on the knowledge of history and the memory of the ancestors. Jehu, the 10th king of Samaria, reigns over Israel during 841–814 before the Common Era. The tyrant in charge of the army exterminates the previous sovereigns of Israel and installs his dynasty. There is a very high concentration of names of biblical relevance. We can therefore date the first re-editing of the sacred book in this period for military purposes, so Jerusalem got to be for a while the capital city of Samaria. This king is thus a significant reference point on which to determine the year of the first editing of the Pentateuch. Also significant is the fact that it is considered to be the 10th king of Samaria, a symbolic number, and happened to occupy the central position among the 19 kings of Samaria. The scriptures define as good the kingdom of Samaria, hanging on his king the Lord of the world, while charging of evil the names of the adversaries, the Jews, legitimate descendants of King Solomon. It is appropriate to reaffirm that Jehu was a military usurper and not a legitimate descendant of the wise king. The first clear universal awareness that the human being has of God is the experience of his own life. The existence of man in the world is marked by the little death of Hypnos, the Hellenic god of sleep. The existence of man in creation is marked by the great death of Thanatos, brother of Hypnos. The existence of the creation itself, of everything that is on our planet, is marked by the alternation of day and night. Two are, therefore, the eyes of God, the spheres of light, the Diva. Ra, the god or light of the sun, and Yah, the god or light of the moon. Ra, Yah, that is the partner or beloved woman. Of such an expression, a trace remains in the CEI Bible, the major Italian edition, in Judges 11:38. Clearly, the symbolism of the eye in the Radhan triangle, proper to providence, is a superposition of various elements, all belonging to Isis. It is a syncretic variant which brings together the emotionalism of the Sumerian Ashtar with the recovered rational studies of astronomy. Isis is therefore both a goddess of love and war. In Greek myths, the first figure reported with similar features is that of Athena, which replicates the character of Isis. In later times, the characteristics of Athena are then separated and divided between the siblings Artemis Diana, the archer lunar goddess, and her brother Apollo El, the solar god. And in the same way between the consorts Aphrodite, Venus, goddess of love, and Ares, Mars, god of war. Finally, as if to underline the Egyptian origin of this Hellenic goddess, Aphrodite, bride Hephaestus, Vulcan, god of volcanoes, both worshipped in archaic Egypt. It is obviously marred the overlapping with the classical pagan cults. The later expression of God the Father, Deus Pater, is not by itself a sexist concept. The etymological sense is the light that provides food. This light is the solar one for the settled farmers, and the moonlight for the semi-nomadic shepherds of the desert. The third book of Enoch complains that one of the 8 Yahweh cherubs has revealed the truth about the creation of the world to the Egyptian leader. This is what Rabbi Ishmael learned during the 1st century before the Common Era, by studying scriptures which have already been altered by one country rulers of its. Yahweh, kings of Palestine and Samaria. Let's start by identifying the first dichotomy that can be found. The divine designation in the Old Testament is made with two very precise terms, Elohim and YHWH. The Elohim are natural fathers of Adam, while YHWH is the alleged God of Moses, according to Jewish texts. Elohim is a transcription which is found in the Hebrew text. The Greek text tells of Otheos, the God, undoubtedly in a singular form. The origin of the scriptures tells of a monotheism, as anciently there was in Egypt the monotheism of Isis, Venus. In the Hebrew version, the one God assumes polytheistic connotations, becoming Elohim. This last term, that contemporary literature transmits to us capitalized, distinction not present in Hebrew, must be correctly rendered lowercased. Unquestionably, it is a plural term. The Theos, the sunlight, sends its messengers, sunbeams, Elohim, on the earth to bring life to creation, Mother Nature. The worship of the God of Israel, it is therefore a national deity, is attested only from the Iron Age, 9th, 8th century before the Common Era. That's where the priests take on the identity of Elohim, leading people to consider El and Yahweh as if it were the same God, thus operating a replacement of the cult. The high crime of deifying a human being made them the priestly caste doomed for eternity in God's eyes. The Arabs knows that the ancient covenant of the Hebrews with God was cancelled during the 8th century before the Common Era, due to the religious blasphemy that tried to equate a man with God. The last book of the Wars of Yahweh stated it, and was therefore made to disappear, even because it probably revealed the link between the king of Samaria and the coeval divine figure of Yahweh, and the fact that the wars of Yahweh were against the Jews, as the historical evidence suggests us. If you want to know more, subscribe to the Eternal's Congregation channel and stay tuned for news. If you want to investigate the matter further, buy the book Dawn of the Gods, The Untold Timeline of Genesis on Amazon and in bookstores. Read it and discuss of it in your congregation or church. Thank you for listening.